should we strive to build a just world on this earth? Should we in this land attempt to build the world as fair as possible? We could say at first glance, since life on earth is only temporary, why bother with such a concept? What matters finally is eternity, and therefore we ought to accept injustices, accept nature which has been destroyed, but for example by our own operations, beside it passes to figure on this world. Such reasoning is an error which can occur when someone exalts the gaze on eternity, which is very important, which is obviously the ultimate goal, but to the point of forgetting the gaze of love of neighbor and the fact that the earth is the temporary place where our children will be, and therefore it must be cherished and protected, even if it is only a purgatory which will pass. We must realize that there are two excesses that may be committed in Christianity. Some people during the 19th century extolled the love of God so much that they omitted the love of their neighbor, and suddenly they forgot to help workers who did not receive their wage, nor to help women who had been deceived by their husbands. Therefore, to build justice upon earth is to testify according to needs during the trial on earth. He kept saying, "Give up, you will have paradise on the other side." This attitude is wrong. The exaltation for the love of God while forgetting the love one's neighbor is incorrect, according to St. John, who says it is that the love of God does not exist. Conversely, in France, after May 1968, a generation began to exalt the love of neighbor. Let us build a world here on earth, a world that is just as realistically possible. There will no longer be poor people. It is that which counts first, and as for the proclamation of the gospel, one will begin to do this when there are no more poor people, when the standard of living has been raised. It is a mistake. This generation is approaching the time of retirement, old age, and it does not have any theological hope. It's too late. This generation no longer believes in anything, and therefore it authorizes laws for euthanasia. It has forgotten that it is the love of God that gave meaning to life. Consequently, it has built in Europe a world like never before seen of social justice, of social violence, which is true. One cannot deny it. And people commit suicide due to the lack of meaning in their life. They are occasionally less happy in their wealth than in African countries where they just have just enough to eat and to run barefoot in the street. So everyone must fight for earthly justice in order to build the fairest world possible. And as Pope Francis says, protect nature, be ecological, and stop wasting. It is true. It is essential. It should not be done from a perspective separate from God. It must be done in association with God. A bit like Saint Vincent de Paul did Mother Teresa, who took care of the poor more than anyone, but who spent a long time before the Lord in prayer and more prayer. If we forget the Lord, we become like politicians, and at the end of the day, we may even end up forgetting our neighbor, as the laws on abortion, euthanasia, and the suicide of disabled people currently illustrate. Something where the weakest is endangered, and this danger is justified by the love for their life, which has become unworthy. This is what is absurd.